over the last decade, we have seen an increase in employment by 2.4 million persons. Over the last 5 years, by 1.1 million persons. And of course, over the last year, by 108,000 persons. And indeed, quarter on quarter, we have seen an increase of 45,000 people. We want to look at the labor force participation rate and compare it with the absorption rate. We understand that the labor force participation rate is the proportion of the working age population that is either employed or unemployed, whereas the absorption rate is the proportion of the working age population that is employed. The labor force participation rate as the fourth quarter in 2019 was sitting at 59.8%, whereas the absorption rate we were sitting at 42.4%, and we have a gap of about 17.4 percentage points. The more the gap widens, the more the challenges are in the labor markets. If it narrows, it shows that we are actually making progress between those that are employed and those that are actively looking for employment. And of course, that gap should always narrow. Let us look at the unemployment rate in relation to levels of education. While unemployment rate for the fourth quarter of 2019 is sitting at 29.1%, at the same time, those with less than matric were sitting at 34%, and that had seen an increase of 0.02 of a percentage point. We can see when we compare that with those who are graduates that they are sitting at an unemployment rate of 7.6%, and of course this decreased by 0.6 of a percentage point. Now when we look at this, it explains that education does assist in our people being able to net employment. In all those categories where the absorption rate seems to be increasing, it's only when, as well as the labor force participation rate, it's only when they have attained higher levels of education. The lower levels of education, as we can see, the absorption rate as well as the participation rate are actually lesser. Unemployment rate for those aged 25 to 34 is sitting at 35.6%, and it's more than double that of those that are aged 45 to 54 years. When we go even further to look at those aged 15 to 24 years, we see that their unemployment rate is sitting at 58.1%. So the younger the people, the higher the unemployment rate. But generally, young people are vulnerable to labor markets. And we can see that the absorption rate for those aged 15 to 24 years is sitting at 11%, whereas their labor force participation rate is sitting at 20.2%. Furthermore, let us look at those that are aged 15 to 24 years and compare them with other age cohorts. We can readily see that in that age category of 15 to 24 years, those that are with less than matric have broken the 60% barrier. They are sitting at 61.8% of unemployment rate. And those that are graduates at the same age cohort are sitting at 24.6%. So again, we see the importance of education in terms of the ability of our people to be able to find employment.